Alright, so here we have a very cute little dog, which we're going to do some retouching on. This is a light painting image. And again, this image was raw processed to have a little more red intensity here and some more blue on the top. It was darkened a little bit, and it looks a lot better, giving a little more contrast. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to duplicate my background layer. I'm going to call it my working image. Okay. And I'm going to do a little bit of retouching. I'm going to go in and remove this little line here that I see at the bottom. What I plan on doing with this image is I plan on selecting half of the image and flipping it so that we have a mirror image. So first I want to retouch my image a bit. So I'm going to go in and remove some of these little imperfections I see in the cloth here. I'm going to be cloning, I'm cleaning up the areas that are going to be seen once I copy, paste, and flip. So that's this left side. So this is the left side. I don't like what I just did there, so I'm going to go back on my history. I'm going to undo it. I don't want any obvious cloning spots. And I'm going to actually reduce my opacity on my cloning a little bit down to like about 50% so that I have a little more control on what I'm cloning here. And I'm going to bring this down and just keep looking at the left side and see a couple little spots that need to be retouched out. But in general, this image is pretty clean, so I need to do that much. I'm going to go Control minus. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my marquee tool. I'm going to select half of the image. In fact, I'm going to use this little line in the dog. It's kind of my guide as to what I'm going to be what I'm going to be selecting here to flip. I'm going to go like right about there, and I'm actually going to, I'm thinking that I might even rotate it a little bit. So let's go deselect. I want to rotate this a little bit, but maybe I'll do that once I've selected it. So I'm going to come like right there. I'm going to go Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. And it makes a whole new layer here. You can see that. So I'm going to come over here and click on that new layer, Show Transform Controls. And I'm going to rotate it slightly. And I'm going to adjust the opacity down a little bit so that I can line up that, the little line on the dog. I'm going to line that up a little bit. Right about there. Enter. You see how that turns out. And I'm going to go over here to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and now I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to put it up to 100% opacity, and I'm going to move it over. I'm going to carefully line this up. I want my little stitches to line up a little bit. There we go. Carefully okay, I'm going to click Enter, and what I'm going to do little stitches right here to actually line up, so I'm going to put them together like that, okay? But that means I need to stretch this a little bit because it's not lining up at the top, and I want the top and the bottom to line up. So I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. Now the top up here and the stitches line up, but they don't line up down here. So I'm going to adjust it slightly up. Just keep slightly adjusting it. I'm going to go in and use my warp tool probably to finish the final lining up of these. That looks pretty good here on the bottom. Okay, on the dog, on the nose. Now these need to be lined up, and that still needs, those at the top look pretty good. So now I'm going to come over here to File, Edit, Transform. I'm going to kind of come up here to Warp. And now I'm going to move this down, but I don't want to move the top. I just want to move just this part here down, bend that up a little bit, and just keep slightly adjusting them until they match up. Click Enter. And need to readjust down here a little bit again. Come over here and go to Edit, Transform, Warp again, and I'm going to see if I can move this up. Wants to move everything. So I'm going to check this. I'm actually going to place everything, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to merge these two images. They're working in layer 1. I'm going to merge these layers so that they become one. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use my cloning tool, and I'm going to blend using the cloning tool. Just going in here and just blending in the bottom here. If I go Control Plus and come down here, I can just get rid of this line that's formed here and just kind of bring it across. To blend that in a little better. Same thing here. I'm going to kind of blend in these. And I'm going to blend this up a little bit and add a little bit of a darker nose. Here at the top. I'm going to go with a little bit smaller brush. In fact, I'm going to use more of a precise brush. A very small, precise brush. Okay, I'm going to go Alt. I'm going to clone right along this edge here, so I get a nice, precise edge on my little nose here. I think that looks pretty good. Now I want to clone the stitching. I want to bring that all the way down. So I'm going to actually make my brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to actually make a nice, precise stitching, bringing that all the way down. So I'm adding on to the image. Okay, I'm actually bringing a little stitch line down. And it looks like it's blending in. Now I'm going to go in with a softer brush, and I'm going to blend the edges a little bit of where the two images come together, just to soften that line just a tad bit. Now I'm going to move this up, continue to just soften that line where the two come together. And then here, got this, I want to like get rid of that. So I'm going to like actually add in more white here, just kind of expand this out so there's no harsh line here. I'm going to add and what I've done is I've done like a flippy version of this stuffed animal. Making looking like it's a kind of like a repeated shape here. I probably could have just copied this and then flipped it, but either way, as long as I have the same results in the end, that's all that matters. Now I'm always doing my opacity at a lower opacity. I'm never doing this at 100% because if I did it at 100%, it would not turn out as smoothly. So now I'm going to back out on this. Fun dog. Here's the original image. Cute, but I don't know, this looks a little more demented having it like flipped in. I like both versions actually, but one, you know, gives you a little more creativity, I think, by flipping it and showing that dog equally positioned on both sides. We could go in if we wanted to and play a little more with this by adding in some solid colors, maybe adding in a red here and kind of playing with the blend mode. More here with the blend mode. And then eventually what we could do is use the layer mask and take some of it off. Come in with my layer mask. And then go in with a bigger brush. Definitely take the red off of the dog. Kind of leaving a little bit of red on the edges. I like the blue in the middle here. And take the red off of the ears of the dog. And maybe we'll add another color. Change it up even a little more. Maybe do like green, kind of an opposite color. Going in the blending mode. Play with that. Maybe a darker color. And why don't we do this and look at it with at a different opacity? It would be really cool. I think I like multiply in a lower opacity. So now I'm going to go back in with my brush and go in with the big brush. Take it off the bottom here, take it off of here. Take it off everywhere, and then go back in, put it back in where I want it. So, my layer mask is going to look black. Thinking right now. I think I'm going to put a little bit of green actually right here on the head. Just a little bit right here on the head. Get out slightly. A little bit of green tinge here. Go back lower on my opacity on my brush so I can control a little better. Out here. Alright, and then I'm ready to save it.